Yo, what's up, guys? It's Bossza Talks NBA here, and we are back. And today we have another video. It is going to be the top 5 point guards from the 2018-2019 NBA season. So, basically, this is going to be the top 5 point guards in my opinion. Don't forget, I said my opinion. So, if you disagree with this list, leave a comment and tell me why you disagree, and I will comment back why I disagree with your disagreement or whatever. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So at the number 5 spot for the fifth best point guard in the entire NBA from this 2018 to 19 season is going to be Kemba Walker. Now, Kemba Walker is probably, this season was probably one of his best years ever. He literally was so good. He made his first ever All-Star team. He made All-NBA third team. He was definitely proved to be a top 5 point guard. Now, any other season, if you would have asked me who any other season, he wouldn't be a top 5 point guard, but this season he was. Now, last season I put Chris Paul as a better point guard than him because, well, Kemba Walker, he was good and all, but like this year he proved that Chris Paul this year was nothing to him as he went off and averaged 25 points, almost got the Hornets to the playoffs with that horrible injury-prone team that he had. The team, it wasn't even that bad. It's just so many bad contracts. The locker room wasn't that great, and Kemba really was the only dude on that team who could score and put the ball in the basket. All really Charlotte needed was just another guy that could help out Kemba on the offensive side. They had the defense. They had Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Nicholas Batum. They had the defense. They just needed another offensive star with him so they can have enough offense to go against better teams like the Rockets and the Warriors, and even in the East, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Raptors. They just needed offense, and well, they couldn't find that. But yes, Kemba Walker is the fifth best point guard in the entire NBA. With the number 4th spot in this rankings video is going to be Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is definitely a top 5 point guard this year. I mean, what can I say? Let me just start this off. He averaged, it doesn't even matter. He oh my God. He averaged 26 points, 5 rebounds, a bunch of assists. Like, listen, Damian Lillard was awesome this year. And yes, his team was good. I'm not going to say they carried his team, but let's just be honest. They literally were so successful because really Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, but Damian Lillard, the main part, they got to the playoffs, and everybody thought that the Blazers were just going to be another good playoff team who would just make it to the first round and get exited by the Thunder. Even I thought that the Thunder were going to beat the Blazers, but Damian Lillard hit the game winner in Paul George's face and got the Thunder out of the way in 5. Most people thought the Thunder were going to win in 5 or 6. I thought they were going to win it in 6, but no, the Blazers ended up beating them in 5. Then everybody were like, okay, they beat the Thunder, but the Nuggets have them in the bag. Well, guess what? The Nuggets weren't even able to get past them either, as Damian Lillard and the Blazers beat them in 7. Then, after all of that, they made it to the Western Conference Finals in the first time, not in the first time, but they finally made it to the Western Conference Finals after years upon years of just losing in the first or second round. Damian Lillard proved everybody wrong and made it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, that all went down because they lost against the Warriors, which, they didn't have a chance against the Warriors anyway, as they got beat. But still, Damian Lillard that year definitely proved why he was a top 5 point guard in the NBA. And while in my opinion, he's the 4th best point guard in the 2018-19 season. For the number 3 spot in the entire NBA is going to be Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving, this was so hard to make between Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook. And I kind of just spoiled it for you guys. But yes, Russell Westbrook is the number 2 spot, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But the reason why it was so hard was because Kyrie and Russell Westbrook had an awful playoff season, but in the actual 2018-19 season, the full 82 games, Russell Westbrook had a better one. But since we're not talking about playoff, Russell Westbrook is the second best point guard in the NBA. If we're talking about the 2018-19 regular season, Russell Westbrook is the second best point guard. But if we're talking about the third best, if you're talking about the playoffs, then Damian Lillard and Kyrie have them beat. But we're not talking about playoffs. Maybe we'll do a top five best point guard who are in the 2018-19 playoffs. But no, we're talking about the regular season. So yes, Kyrie Irving has that. And let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, Kyrie Irving has that, and it was kind of hard to debate between Damian Lillard and Kyrie, just because Damian Lillard, honestly, you could probably say that Damian Lillard had a better season, but this is why I think Kyrie had a better regular season, and the reason why is because, first of all, Kyrie was he's Kyrie this game. He did his thing, he averages, 23, 24 points, 25 points, whatever. Did his thing, but Kyrie was the best player this season and was better than Lillard was because with all the issues that happened, they still were a very good regular season team. So much drama in the locker room as Jason Tatum and Jalen were making all this controversy, and Kyrie was still able to put up with this and still ball out. And Kyrie Irving had some injuries and still did that as well. And Kyrie Irving just the third best point guard in 2018-19 regular season. He did his thing. I don't really have to say much about this. Damian Lillard was definitely a close one, a close third decision, just because Damian Lillard, he had the better stats, but Kyrie had the better. Kyrie had. Yeah, Kyrie just had. You just look at the games closely. You can see that Kyrie just did so much on the court. It's just he just didn't get 7 points as Damian Lillard. So yeah. Now with the number 2 spot of the 2018-19 regular season has to be Russell Westbrook. Now people are gonna think you just a bandwagoner of Westbrook, or his stats were really good this season, so that's why you picked him. His stats were good. Yes, they were 20, 10, and 10. It's pretty freaking good. No, actually, he didn't have 20. He had 23, 10, and 10. But yes, 23, 10, and 10 is very good. But it's not just the stats. And yes, sometimes he might stat stuff. But him and this Thunder team were projected to be worser with Carmelo Anthony gone. Some people were projected to win 45 games. Some morons, I've heard it, I'm not just making this up, some morons expected them not even to make the playoffs. But they actually were pretty decent this offseason. During the season, they won 50 games. For a moment in time, they were actually like really good. They were like 38 and like 20 something, which was pretty good. Which they're actually like third in the West for like a good amount of time, and the West was stacked, of course, with the Warriors, the Warriors, the Rockets, and the Nuggets, and just a bunch of other stacked teams. So they were third in the West. Was a lot of people were surprised, but then they went on a little losing streak, back and forth between winning and losing. But I'm not talking about the Thunder in general. I'm talking about Russell Westbrook and why I think that he is deserving to be the second spot. He was just not even. He averaged a triple double. His efficiency was horrible when it started off, but then it got a little better. Honestly, he's a team player, and Russell Westbrook is a guy that could just him himself with a bunch of just freaking high schoolers, he would probably get them to, I don't know, a 40 win team. Just him and a bunch of random high schoolers. So that's why I think that he's better than Kyrie and Damian, because, he proved a lot of people wrong. At the start of the season, a lot of people said he suck, but he proved everybody wrong. So that's why I have him at number 2. And number 1 is Steph Curry. We already knew that.